What is the phrase, "I'm in recovery," supposed to mean? Maybe it means I'm now growing for the first time in my life because I admitted at some point that I have flaws, and these contribute to my emotional and physical pains, as opposed to previously saying everything is someone else's fault, or that I'm not even in any pain. My life is pretty darn peachy keen as it is, and there's nothing more I would want in life. These two things being quite ironical and very inaccurate, I'd say. Some might say this: my life is just fine as it is, financially and in every which other way. My marriage, my relationships, how I spend my time, my level of efficiency, every which way. But how dishonest. So, for a person to say that they're in recovery, they first have to basically say they have flaws and they want Ben to start working on them. As opposed to, in my opinion, a great number of people who wish to feel secure, first of all, by saying they're perfect, thus having more power over others, in their mind anyway, but at the expense of starting to grow by recognizing you're not perfect, and then identifying the ways in which you're not perfect and starting to work on them for the first time in your life. I suppose the first type of person would be called blame shifters, in that everything else is always somebody else's fault, without exception. And if the other person won't agree with it, you just kind of kick them out of your life and move on for another take on it, until you're all alone in a room, basically your house, all isolated and termed depressed or bummed out, and you don't know why. And then maybe you slowly drink yourself to death, or TV set yourself to death, or sleep yourself to death. Or maybe if a male, as you get older, you simply develop what is called being a crotchety old man, and you may have enough money to hire caregiver help of a physical nature till you die, but the caregiver's having to bite their tongue and tolerate quite a bit, and you're not even knowing that, perhaps. I would like to see this word denuded, actually. A word, by the way, from Chris Stowe, denuded, of the Future Channel, F-U-T-U-R. I would like to see that term, "I'm in recovery," go out the window, to replaced with a term that says, I suddenly see for the first time that I don't have perfection, and thus I have something to contribute to some extent to my suffering in life, physical, emotional, and for the first time then I'm going to start looking at that, identifying my flaws and working on them. Just like, in a sense, Ben Franklin in his autobiography several hundred years ago pointed out how he made a list of all his flaws and then worked on them one by one, incrementally. Not that he made a picture-perfect result as per the outcome, maybe more financial and power-wise than emotionally, who knows, or call it spiritually. But at any rate, the claim that he had flaws and was going to work on them is quite admirable, I would say. Why say, though, you're in recovery, as if you're ashamed, though, of some big flaw you once had, whether it was drinking too much or something else that is pilloried in a society and other things not? Why say you're in recovery over that one issue when in general you're saying that you're growing for the first time in your life because you acknowledge you're not perfect, when before you claimed you were perfect? And many people continue to their dying day to say they're perfect, alternatively. I suppose, though, as a stopgap measure, with our vocabulary being what it is, maybe it's better to say, in an honest sense, I'm in recovery for life, than to say, I'm in denial, and I'm so perfect, I don't even need to consider that I have any flaws. We don't have a word for that, perhaps, other than the derogatory term arrogant, or a know-it-all, another little derogatory term, but I'm in recovery not being derogatory, so that gets used more by certain people.